Well, good evening. Good evening to everyone. Listen, I am not even going to talk about timing at this time. Welcome to the Victory Moment with CK. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited today to come as we are celebrating Black History Month. And I'm just excited because we are celebrating Black History Month. But someone say Black History Month is 365 days of the year. It is not just about um a month, but we take this time and we acknowledge Black history. And it's so important. So today I'm highlighting who many of us know and some, like I said, we're still learning a lot in reference to Black history. And I want to acknowledge Maya Angelou. I am so excited to acknowledge her today. So let's chat about welcome. I see you coming in. Let's chat Maya Angelou today. So as we are chatting, and if you don't know who I am CK. I am the CEO and owner of KM Trouble. I am the host of this amazing show, and I welcome you in. Thank you for those that have taken time to connect with me once again on my show. This is going to be awesome. I am I I was thinking about it and I said, what am I going to talk about today? And I wanted to highlight something something about connecting to Black history. And um as a lady, as a woman, I monitor and I literally did a history on my own when I was growing up in reference to women and how we move from one movement and now we are actually a vice president at this time. And when I looked at, Maya Angelou, I said, I got connected to one of her literary works that says, if you always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. And when I read that, I was like, wow. I said, I gotta chat about this today because we're always talking about being amazing. We're always talking about how we're amazing. And, to encourage others that you're amazing, you're good, as you do your best and letting God do the rest. And when I read that, I said, I want to highlight that today. And happy Black History Month. And Maya Angelou, I want to read a little bit about just a highlight of who she was. Maya Angelou was one of the most influential Black women of all time. She was a writer, an activist. She was a writer, an activist, author, speaker, and well known to her work with the civil rights movement and literary book like literary work like why the cage bird sings. I don't know how many have ever taken the time to read that book, but it's very powerful. And I am just like, when I look at her and where she's brought us from, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying it like that, you know. But she passed in 2014, but her spirit lives on. Today, as we salute her, we remember one of her greatest, arise. And it's so like, I was excited to talk about it because we, not just because it's Black History Month, but what it represents. When she talk about our rise, and when she reminded us, and I want to talk about three things before I leave, and before you come to the next show, and I have somebody else and something else about Black history. This month is going to be focused on not just Black history, but connecting Black history to freedom, connecting Black history to, progress. Although, it's hard to see certain things when it seems like we're taking steps forward, but then we have like a lot of steps backward and all of those things. But she stood out and left a legacy that we can look up to. And that's what she's saying. Hey, you don't know how amazing you are. You don't. You don't know how amazing you are if you're always trying to be normal. So what she did, especially for us women, she paved the way. And she stood out and left a legacy that we can look up to. How many would like to have that impact and leave a legacy that your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and others can look up to? She made a difference as she influenced changes in a very difficult time. A lot of times when there's difficult times, we want to like, oh, we can't, it can't be done. It's difficult. It's too hard. But I always say this: use the difficult times to learn and grow. Use the difficult times to learn and grow. You can push forward with endless possibilities. And as we look at all that she did as a civil rights, you know, as she, took time to make change and help to make things different. She didn't just talk about it, but she was about it. And that's what I want to say to us. Let's not just talk about it. Let's not just, one of the things I learned when it came to Black history is that it was students that brought this together and made the impact to say, we need change, but you have to also be the change. Be the change. Make the difference in all that you're doing. Arise. As I get ready to close out, I just wanted to share this briefly as we commemorate and we remember Black History Month and we celebrate. She took the struggle of the time and sees it and impacted history to give us our rise, to let us know that we can rise and keep going in the midst of the worst circumstance. Maya Angelou gave that impact that we can rise in the midst of the struggle. We can rise in the midst of the things that are just not right, because there's so much injustice in a lot of things. But how can we be part of the solution and not the problem? She stood out and left a legacy as she influenced change in a very difficult time. And as a woman, there were so many things against her, but she made a difference as she just took time to be the difference and make the difference. I'm sharing this with you because many of us write books, many of us are, spiritual leaders. And how are you really impacting and making a difference? Our youth need us to make a difference so that we can show them how to progress, how to keep going. Our youth need to be able to look up to us and say, arise. Our youth need to be able to look up to us and see how we keep going and not give up. So I just wanted to share that a little bit today as as we're 6 days in already. But take time not to fight physically, but fight with your brains, fight with your knowledge. I hear this all the time and I smile. Knowledge is only power when you use the knowledge and use it wisely. When you use the knowledge and you use it to bring certain things and make a difference. So we celebrate Black History Month, but we don't put down anybody else because we're celebrating Black History Month. But we're going to make history also. When I see an African American woman in the White House as a vice president, it showed what we can do if we don't, as Maya Angelou said, if we never just be normal. We can do this. We can fight to make it right. But that doesn't mean hate. That means using the knowledge that no one can take away from you. The degrees that you earned and put together. They can't take that away from you. But keep going. We acknowledge her today Maya Angelou. We acknowledge her today because she stood out and left a legacy, because her influence changed in a very difficult times. And finally, she took the struggle. How many know? Take your struggle and impact history to give us, or give your children, give your grandchildren, give them the hope that they can rise, even when we keep seeing some really difficult things. But I want to say this again. How can you be a change? How can you make a difference using your gifts and your talents? And that's how you have to focus. So we welcome Black History Month as we grow and we learn more. But study in depth of who Martin Luther King was. What was his real focus? Who Maya Angelou really, who she really was, as especially women. Understand, you can do it if you don't give up, if you don't quit. You can be that one person that stood out, that stands out, and make a difference. We pray for the change, the real change to come, because we know it has not been easy. It hasn't. But guess what? All things are possible when we keep looking unto God. And I have to end and begin with that. He'll bring it to pass in the midst of it all. Just don't give up. Just keep standing out, standing up, and standing strong. Thank you again for joining me for the victory moment with CK. I thank you because I am determined to, even if it's one person, to touch and impact lives, that we keep moving forward in the midst of it all. So have a great, blessed rest of your evening. Thank you for my faithful that always join me on my show. I'm doing some things differently, so please, I'm acknowledging. I'm trying to, but I have to do things a little differently. So thank you, those that are just enjoying and coming. I should say coming back and watching the show, whether it be on Roku, whether it be on my actual YouTube page, Facebook. Thank you. But I always say, listen, subscribe, and you're gonna get more things. I'm about to put out and share one of my videos that I really love, because it's so beautiful in the way that it just talks about rising, So keep rising. Keep rising as I end off. And that's my last word today. Keep rising. So I see you on the next episode. As we keep going, I see you on the next episode as we keep impacting and making a difference in the lives we touch. Love and hugs. And I see you on the next episode of the Victory Moment with CK.